Hi, everyone. Thanks again for joining us for another episode of the Daily BizLink. Kathleen Gramzay is back for our Wednesday Wellness series. And today we're talking about step one of creating a company culture of resilience. So Kathleen, thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Last week, we talked about how critical it is to actually have a strategy, a resilience strategy for your organization. And the latest jobs list third quarter report just came out, and it states that 22% of job seekers quit their last jobs, and 73% of current people are thinking about it. Now, of those 22%, the top reasons why they quit was, number one, they didn't like how they were treated during their pandemic by their employer. Two, either a lack of pay or lack of benefits. And the third one was that they, work-life balance. There we go. So work-life balance, those are all resilience factors. And a resilience strategy that focuses on mitigating stress and building resilience is actually a strategy that gets to all the problems at their roots. People adapt and grow through that, and business leaders who recognize and intentionally develop a resilience and stress mitigation and resilience environment for their teams actually help them not only to survive the crisis, but to then move forward through the stress and actually strengthen them to then do really even more amazing things, because everybody just got stronger through that whole process. But it needs leaders who are paying attention and looking at that from that high level and developing it into their programs. So today, we will talk about this a little more over a few of the next episodes. Today, we're really going to talk about the first part, which is creating a proactive environment. And Deloitte Insights recently posted a great article by Jen Fisher, who is their Chief Wellness Officer, and it's called Bridge Across Uncertainty. And I definitely recommend it for leaders who are really wanting to get a better understanding of this incredible role that they can play in leading this huge work paradigm shift. So to start, we need to recap different kinds of stress, right? Number one, there's the good stress, right? It's when we are positively stretched and a little uncomfortable to get a presentation ready or to max ourselves out in a new physical challenge, for example. There's tolerable stress. Tolerable stress is, okay, it's not going to be pleasant, right? But we can handle it because we have the resources and the support, and there's an end in sight. The third type of stress is really the one that we're all talking about, which is chronic stress or considered toxic stress. This kind of stress is a problem because there isn't enough support or resources to weather the stress, and we don't know when it's going to end. So without those pieces, that's when it becomes chronic, and that is when it starts to impact us negatively, when the executive function of our brain stop working, when we're not socially positively engaged anymore. And also then when things, just break down in terms of our work environments. So when we look at this and we say, okay, so there is stress management. Stress management is you're just trying to mitigate something that's already happened. Resilience is actually proactive. It is building this culture intentionally of providing the resources and support people need to be able to handle that. So step one of a resilience strategy then is to proactively create this culture where people can consistently, your workforce can consistently have the support they need and the resources to mitigate their stress and to build resilience. So that comes out basically in three pieces or three aspects. Number one is psychological safety. Is psychologically safety, it's an intentional thing, right? It does not just happen, and it absolutely does not. Because what it takes is developing a psychological safe environment means that people have to feel trusted, they have to feel respected. They need to be able to be comfortable in being able to learn and adapt and make mistakes without the threat of negative consequence. That's no small thing. That is the biggest thing. And neurologically, I can tell you that it is the biggest component of the impact of whether or not people are feel good in their environment. The second is to provide and communicate and advocate for the programs you do have that you most likely already have. The other piece of that, of course, is do you actually have resilience training, right? Because it's both. You have to give them the new skill sets to be able to learn how to do these and handle things in a new way. And the third is advocating for community and social environment impact. So, for example, just giving paid time off for volunteering or for community involvement, right? Where as an organization, you are supporting people being social and impacting positively their environment.
So based on everything that you shared, Kathleen, and for those organizations that are ready to make that change and impact their culture and provide that culture of resilience, do you have any specific challenges for this week?
Yeah, it's some food for thought here. So one is to ask yourself, number one, how psychologically safe is your work environment? And if you don't really know, then survey your workforce, they will tell you. And there's ways to do that in a way that they'll feel safe enough to tell you. Right? You got to take that into consideration. The second thing is, ask, do you offer resilience training? If you don't yet offer it, consider it as a high priority, because that is going to make a huge difference from the get-go. And then look at your other programs that you already offer. Are they designed for work? Like if they're older programs, lots of times they're developed for individuals, which is great. However, there has to be a connection between individual well-being to team well-being to performance, right? It all goes together. It needs to be connected and correlated. So looking at your programs with how people work and then reevaluating that can really make a big difference to bring that thread of the ROI from, okay, we're providing these programs, but actually to people are performing better, we are working as a team better, and everybody's healthier and happier as a team. And then the third question is what civic or community programs or support do you offer your workforce that encourages them to participate in a social endeavor that is meaningful, that also increases that beautiful resilience in your organization.
Great. Well, Kathleen, as we look to wrap up today's conversation, is there anything else you want to leave our audience with?
If you need help or support or you have questions, you can reach me on LinkedIn or at my website, KathleenGramzay.com.
Wonderful. Well, Kathleen, thanks so much for joining us on this episode of the Daily BizLink Wednesday Wellness Series.
My pleasure. See you soon.